Hey everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect. This is episode 9, and today's date is August 13th, 2019.
And I am Bankaardappel, or Bank for short, and today we're gonna talk about some Minecraft. What have you been up to this week, That's?
Well, other than getting chocolate all over my shirt and desk and mouse, keyboard, and all that great jazz, I have actually been working on overhauling my stream.
Yeah.
So Mixer has an interactive keyboard, which I take advantage of. I think it's a very cool feature, and if you're streaming on Mixer without the keyboard, you're not really taking full advantage of the site. So I wanted to use it. Keyboard wasn't anything to write home about. It had some sounds, it had a couple of dad joke buttons, and some where to find me buttons. Not so much anymore. Now it's got a full-on menu system. Now it's got decorative buttons that aren't just colors. It's got really nice images. I really like this keyboard.
Yeah, it got a massive upgrade, and you did an awesome job, I think. They look... I mean, I like the fact that they're smaller now. They don't take away as much from your stream screen.
Yeah, and that was the big point to why I wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I still have to do the mobile version. I keep forgetting about that. I have a ton of people who watch from their phones. So I need to get that keyboard set up for the mobile people,
I mean,
too.
I'm assuming it's a lot of copy and paste work, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's really just... It already has all the buttons set up. I just have to arrange them, so it should take me 5 minutes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, then really get on that.
Yeah. Other than that, I've been working on the XP on demand machine. I think this is the third week in a row I've had some update on that machine. But
yeah,
I ripped out the kelp farm because, Minecraft doesn't smell equally. I mean, how bogus is that? By the way, did you know a kelp will give you 0.1 XP, and so will a piece of armor?
I didn't. I remember that you had to switch to cactus because kelp had less experience, and then I went to test it for you in a single player world, and it did noticeably gave you less experience. But I googled it as well, and I noticed that there's very cactus gives a huge amount of experience compared to pretty much anything else.
Yeah, which is why I'm to the point where I think it's a glitch and it'll be fixed in 1.15.
It's definitely a strange mechanic how the experience, or not mechanic, but just how they divide, how much experience you get for stuff. It seems a bit weird.
Yeah, and to me, a full armor chest plate gives you 0.1 experience or 0.2 experience. Why is that not the higher experience total?
Yeah, and cactus gives you 1.
I'm sorry, but if I know somebody who can smelt an iron chest plate into a nugget, that guy has way more experience than the guy who can throw a cactus on a fire.
Well, I guess if he only gets a nugget out of it, maybe
that's
he's
true.
Not
maybe
so
he's not very good at his job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up ripping out the kelp, and now I've used this cactus tower. I think I used 65 cactus source blocks, and it's way improved compared to the first cactus farm. It's still not impressive by any means, but instead of the time the first farm took, I want to say it was close to 10 hours to get one of those furnaces up and ready to go. This one can do it in 3 or something like that.
Oh wow, that's a good improvement.
It's a very good improvement. It's a third of the time, so I'm happy with it. It's not crazy. You still got to wait around. But I don't need to repair items that often, so I'm going to have multiple furnaces at the ready.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have to, repair something every 3 hours, so it's probably going to pile up eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly what you want. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, the last thing I really did was worked on some detail inside of my base, printing it up. I really need to get back to working to the outside of my base, but I had a lot of inspiration to add some more greenery in my base. That's the one thing I kind of wish Minecraft would add, wouldn't be more plants and greens and grass and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but enough with what my week was like, chocolate and all. What was your week like?
Well, the chocolate, I guess, was 10 minutes ago, not even.
Yeah, I know. They caused a double take in the episode.
gave us a good laugh, which is the best thing, I guess. So you kind of inspired me, I guess. You worked on your stream info, and I figured I'll work on that. Or you worked on the keyboard, and I worked on my stream info. I updated that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did a really cool job. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I really like yours. It like as soon as I heard your idea, I went, "Dang it! I should have thought of that."
I don't know how it came to me. Just it's like I just made sort of a pinboard. It seemed quite obvious, but it was a lot of work. I have to admit, I did put a lot of effort in it. It was fun to do, and I eventually
haven't seen it on desktop yet. Still,
oh, you haven't?
I forgot about that. I meant to look it up when I got home that day because you sent it when I was at work.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the complete version on desktop yet.
Yeah, and initially, because I uploaded in sort of picture parts, so I made a full picture and then I broke it up in parts so you could click on bits and that would give you, like I got a Twitter button that goes to my Twitter page, and then I got a little picture of me which links to my YouTube, and there's a check on there which will link to the donation, stuff like that. So I had to break it up in different pictures and then upload those into the info panel, and I had like gaps in between the parts, and then you actually helped me out on that and linked something that would get rid of those gaps, so now it's all one seamless picture, which is really awesome.
Was just I was scrolling through Reddit one day and I'm subscribed to the Mixer Reddit, and I saw a guy who had the same problem you had. Yeah, I was like, holy cow, here we go.
Well, I was close to the solution by myself, but I guess you're not allowed to completely modify the source code or the there's like ways how you have to do it in there, I guess.
Yeah, Mixer lets you do a lot of stuff, but I can understand source code being one of the things you can't touch.
Well, you can touch it apparently, but maybe limit it. Maybe my HTML coding isn't what I think it was. Maybe I just made mistakes.
But staying on this subject of your thing, I just had an idea for your pinboard. Instead of the check, you should have had a Banky dollar.
I did think about it. And
so like an American dollar, but instead of a president, you have the bank face.
I'll be completely honest. I was a bit too lazy to go and make one. Which is, I thought the check was a nice idea as well, though I'm not sure if it's clear that you can click on all the bits. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I think the fun bit of it is way more exciting to me than people actually being able to use it.
Yeah, it's very cool looking.
Yeah. So what else did I set a new record for my speedrun this week as well.
Awesome.
I managed to get under 2 hours. 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 52 seconds.
Nice.
Which puts me in the top 100.
Woohoo.
Yeah, I mean, it's 98, but it's top 100.
Hey, that's top 100. You are top 99, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty cool, I guess. I played a lot of Faster Than Light, which is a different game. And my girlfriend sort of hinted to me that I might get a 3D printer at some point, which would be awesome. So I got really excited about that. Yeah, that would be awesome. That's sort of been my week. It's been, nice week.
But not to get too far of a tangent, you're talking about playing like Faster Than Light. I was looking at the new No Man's Sky update.
Yeah.
And it's kind of got me curious to the point where if the game's on sale, I might pick it up and try it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
I thought that game filled quite a bit, but
it did in the beginning.
Too much attention to it. So what made you change your mind on that?
So, what I love was No Man's Sky promised the moon literally, or as we should say, the center of the universe.
Yeah.
And when it came out that just wasn't possible in their game, they kind of doubled down and said, "Okay, you know what? You're right. We messed up big time, but we're going to do everything we can to make this game everything that we promised." And looking at this update, I'm not going to say anything because you guys could go look it up. We're Minecraft, so I don't want to talk too much about another game. But they did what they said, which is what I love about devs and stuff like that. Mojang's notorious for, we kind of messed up, so we're going to be putting out tons of updates to fix our mistake and make it the way we said it. I mean, you got 1.14. They were constantly trying to throw a new update out there to fix some mistakes they had.
Yeah.
And No Man's Sky is just taking this huge leap forward. And like No Man's Sky Beyond, it now has a VR mode that will work with somebody not playing VR. It's not its own separate thing.
Oh, cool.
I saw that and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then some of the updates to the game mechanics and stuff, I'm like, you know what? That could be a fun game to stream every once in a while. So if it's on sale, I might pick it up.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I'm definitely going to look at it as well.
I think it might be worth it. But I guess it's Minecraft news time because we actually have news this week.
Well,
tiny news, just a smidge. But the Super Duper Resource Pack canceled. We got to thank Carl for that. He threw that in there at the last second. I didn't see it.
I didn't even know they were making it, to be honest. So it is kind of news, I guess. Like
I want to say the Super Duper Pack was mentioned in maybe 112.
Okay.
But it was strictly for console and Bedrock editions, I think.
Oh, well, I didn't read up a little bit on it after I saw it in our notes.
Yeah.
And, sorry. And, what is it? It said like they were working on a 4K texture pack, which I thought was cool. I didn't notice it was for, I thought it was just for Java, to be honest.
I didn't see any mention of Java. I thought it was just for like the console versions.
Yeah, that makes more sense because I think they already have 4K texture packs for Java, although not from Mojang itself, and this was Mojang itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the main point was performance, which is makes sense.
Well, yeah, I have a PS4, and it can only output 720. It can't even do 1080.
Right.
So for a 4K resource pack, I don't really see the point. And then like I have a Nintendo Switch, and it can only do 720. Now, granted, I know an Xbox One X and a PS4 Pro, they can do the 4K. But if you look, it's not really 4K. It's like 1080 and then rezzed up to 4K.
Well, I mean, your screen only has so much, right? Mm-hmm. Mine definitely aren't 4K. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I have a TV in the living room that's 4K.
Okay.
And that was just my roommate really wanted a 4K TV, and he bought it, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
All my other TVs are 1080. I can't tell a difference. I'm sure there's somebody out there
it's going to be too high resolution that you just can't.
Well, see, I have really good eyesight. Doctors say so. I've got really good vision. Like,
okay,
what is it? I don't know, but I can't tell a difference. I don't know if I'm crazy or not, and maybe my doctor needs to retire now.
I mean, to be honest, I kind of had the same thing when it's so long ago already, but when they released like HD. I didn't see much difference with like HD and normal stuff. Yeah, I mean now definitely, but all the HD improved as well, I guess.
Well, see, and I can tell when they fall back to old standards, and I'm thinking maybe I'm just so used to what I see on the computer screen because let's face it, gaming graphics are through the roof nowadays.
Yeah,
even if it's not 4K, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'm just used to that. So when I go watch something on TV, and granted, I don't think I'm watching 4K stuff all the time on the TV. Heck, I don't know of a single, like we use Roku here. We don't have cable or anything like that.
Right.
I don't know of anything that plays in 4K. I mean, we've done a couple Voodoo movies 4K.
I guess Voodoo is streaming something as well.
Yeah, it's just a movie rental site.
Right.
I can't tell, but yeah. I don't think the Super Duper Resource Pack will be missed. I kind of have a feeling it'll be brought back up next console generation.
I mean, they're gonna update graphics at some point for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Every time they update a console, that console is like just right behind a PC in graphical capabilities for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And then PCs update again.
Yeah, so it would make sense if they wait for it for like the next console series.
Yeah, but supposedly that's like next year, so it's like, why go ahead and cancel it now?
Well,
yeah.
Is it going to be the PlayStation? What is it? 5?
PlayStation 5.
Okay.
I don't know what the Xbox is going to be called yet. With their numbering system, it's probably the Xbox.
Well, they had
0.5 or something.
They had the Xbox.
And
then the Xbox 360, and then the One.
Right.
That's. I've no idea what they could go with next. I guess 360 is one circle, and then one's just one. So maybe next time they go the Xbox Square.
Well, how about this? If they're talking about one circle, because the 360 is a circle, maybe the next one's going to be a circumference. So it's like 3.14. They're Xbox Pi.
Well, it would be 6 point... It would be double pi, right? Pi is only half circle.
I mean, I'm all for double pi.
That's actually called tau. We're getting into math nerdy stuff now.
You need to stop cursing at me.
Huh?
It's like when I say work and you like cover your ears and nah.
You don't like maths?
I can do math. I just don't like math.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It was just a fun fact I knew. Yeah. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, with math, I never really understood how I knew how to get to the answer, but I knew how to get there.
Yeah, same here. Well, I'm dyslexic, which sort of it's an automation problem, or at least in my case there's an issue with that. So you don't always automatically. So math was kind of an issue for me because quite often it was like, oh, if you encounter this, you got to do this, but that wouldn't like I have to understand what happens and then I can just reason my way through it.
Yeah.
And I definitely remember doing what was it? Statistics, because you had like to use buttons on your calculator, so they were like, oh, if you're in this situation, use that button. I'm like, what does that button do? They never explained, so I can't do that. But yeah, I always just reasoned my way through like maths exams and stuff. I couldn't remember stuff.
Well, I love kind of when I finally figured out what Excel could do.
Oh.
Because I played with Excel in high school, but coming to college is where I really kind of learned, hey, I had a summer internship with an engineering firm, and they used Excel files for everything.
Nice.
So that really let me know what Excel could do. So when I was going to architecture school, and the big thing with them was designing staircases, they weren't more... so you have a lot of architecture schools that are about philosophy and making things look pretty. This wasn't that school. They were a technical school. You're going to build a house the most efficient way possible. You're going to take... every little space is going to have a use because you're not going to build a mansion. You're building a house that's affordable.
I'm assuming they were also aiming towards like self-sustaining and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So the big thing was designing stairs in a way that they can be used for stuff like half baths or closets, stuff like that. So I ended up setting up... the hard part about designing stairs is North Carolina law requires like a certain amount of width for the tread, and you could only be so tall on the riser, but you also don't want to be so short on the riser it feels awkward walking up and down them. So to figure these all out, you have to like use the length that you have available and the height of your ceilings to the next floor. And I set up an Excel file to take all these variables in. And the hard part is once you get one variable, you usually have to put that same variable back into the equation for it to refigure out the other steps. And then oftentimes that first number you put in will no longer work. So you have to come up with another number with the three other variables you just figured out to create the fourth variable again.
Sounds like programming.
I set up an Excel file that would do the math, and whenever a variable was wrong, it would, or well, I shouldn't say wrong, whenever a variable was not within a certain range I had pre-told it to look for, it would turn the cell red, and whenever a cell was red, it would immediately throw another number in and start the whole thing again.
Oh, nice. So it would sort of auto-solve.
Yeah, I never had to know how to do stairs because I had my Excel file. Once I learned how to do it once, I made the Excel file. So every time we had a stupid stair question on an exam, I would just type in, well, this is the height of my ceilings and this is the length distance I have to make the stairs. And it would and then spit out the number I needed for a tread and riser. And then I was done. And my teacher hated that.
I mean, why though? That's clever. That's,
Right.
Why waste so much time? Could make errors as well.
I sold the Excel file to 2 people for $10.
Nice.
So that's probably why she hated me. They were the 2 kids that really couldn't figure out how to do the stairs, so I felt bad.
Oh.
So one guy I said, give me $10, and the other guy took me out to lunch. And
which, I mean, is basically the same, I guess.
Yeah. But anyways, we're getting way off topic like we normally do.
That was way off topic. Yeah. That was like on another planet.
Yeah, I'm just going to blame Carl on that one. Carl, why would you let us do that? Come on.
Yeah, manage us. I mean...
He's going to start sitting in with the calls with a little bleep button to tell us to get back on topic.
I'm picturing him like pointing at his watch now, like sitting there in a chair pointing at his watch for some reason. Awesome.
Okay, so we're back on topic. Listener comments.
Yeah, we had one awesome listener comment this week.
Mm-hmm. Before we go there, we're gonna poke you guys. Hey, we have a Discord. You guys should really join it because we don't have a lot of people in there, and it's where we first look for comments and topics and discussion stuff. So please join there and leave us comments and discussion topics.
That's good that you did that. You should promote that.
Back to the real topic.
Join us on Discord. Yeah. So Opni actually sent us in a pretty cool... he basically set the topic for this week's episode.
Yeah, at first it was just going to be a little thing we could talk about. Yeah. But it kind of expanded to take over the podcast.
Exactly. Yeah, he made awesome, questions, I guess. Questions. It's sort of a two-parter. Mm-hmm. I'll read it out. So he said, looking back in the history of the game, what is the most important change that happened? And what change could really affect the future of the game? Which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, let's start with the first question.
Yeah, do you want to start with that?
I'll start because I have the earliest update. Actually, I say let's read the updates out in order.
Yeah. And then
I have the first 2 earliest. And I'll say why those 2 were important. I know he's looking for a single answer, but I'm with you in the fact that I don't think there was a single update that can be considered the pivotal.
I'm able to name
words.
Sorry. I'm able to name the best one, I think. That I think is probably the best one. But yeah, they're all pretty good.
Yeah. I chose things that wouldn't on the surface, you wouldn't think that they're very important. But deep down, I think they affected more than people knew.
Yeah.
So, my first update was 1.2. And this is it's such an unimportant update, it didn't get its own fancy name. But this update is the most important update to automation in the game. And I say this because it introduced iron golems.
I got really confused by when you typed in, automation. I was like, huh? What? They already had redstone and stuff? And then, yeah.
You think about it, without iron golems, you don't have pistons, you don't have hoppers. It's those are the 2 most important things when it comes to automation in the game.
Yeah.
So there's that. The next update, you can agree with this being super important just for the surface. And it's going to be the 1.4, the pretty scary update. I'm going to do some clicking real quick. So this update on the surface brings in just new mobs, the wither skeletons, bats and witches. It came back with better AI for the monsters. Monsters can now wear armor and stuff. And block based. You got pumpkin pie, you got anvils, you got item frames, flower pots, beacons. It was a ton of cool stuff. But what really kind of set this off for me was this was the big mob automation update. Because think about it, some of the biggest farms we have nowadays are witch farms and wither farms. Or wither skeleton farms.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, it all goes back to farming. Because to me, redstone's the end-all, be-all, greatest accomplishment in Minecraft. That's what sets Minecraft apart from everyone else. What you do with redstone is you farm mobs. You get all the drops.
I'm not totally agreeing with that, but it's one of its biggest uses for sure.
Yeah. I agree in the fact that that's not its sole purpose, but that's what you see in, like, the interwebs.
Yeah, it's definitely its most.
Everyone's using it to get some mob drops for sure.
Yeah.
I think you're up next. What was your big update?
Well, I mean, I got 1.15, the redstone update. They already had redstone, but yeah, I guess I said another one. 1.5.
You said 15.
Did I say 15?
Yeah, I guess I'm hopeful. That's not out yet.
No, that's definitely not out. I don't think they'll be doing redstone either, but we'll see. No, yeah, 1.5, the redstone update. They already had it, but they added like hoppers and comparators and what was it, droppers. They added a lot of the features that definitely give like variety to use redstone and be creative with it. And
basically making redstone what we know today.
Yeah. I mean, basically what it is today. They added a few more things later on, but not that much. Yeah, and I think redstone is definitely like the main. We're still discovering it, sort of. We're not done discovering redstone, which I think is an awesome feature, because I guess they sort of started. I'd say that the whole discovering redstone started in 1.5. I'm not fully sure because I didn't play back then, but by what they added, it looks like it. And
yeah, I mean, we talked about earlier El Mango and crazy stuff he's doing.
Yeah.
That guy, like, every week comes up with a new crazy farm that we never thought of.
Exactly. So I'm thinking that's one of the biggest game changers they did.
For sure. Like, surface-wise, not looking into deep mechanics or anything like that. Redstone and updating redstone is the best.
Yeah, because that's still being explored.
Yeah.
Like, you know, building a beacon. We've done that. It's useful, but we've explored that area. And I think it's impressive that they managed to make something that's still explorable after, what is it, 5-6 years now? I'm not sure. But that's impressive.
Think of the millions of trillions of hours people have put into playing Minecraft and playing with redstone. And to say we're still finding new redstone stuff is crazy.
Yeah, that's really impressive, I think. But yeah, the next one, I think it's yours again.
Yeah, so we're going to the update that changed the world. 1.7. You guys can't get on to me for that title. Literally, Mojang named it that. 1.7 is the update that changed the world. And at first, I was kind of saying that to be funny because it didn't really look like it did a lot. But it was the first real big redo, I'm going to say, of biomes. Adding a ton of variants to already well-known biome. And then adding savanna as a whole in there, which meant acacia wood, dark oak got put in there.
But they added a lot of biomes.
Yeah. Packed ice was a big thing. You can't really do redstone without packed ice lately.
Yeah, true.
Grassless dirt for the builders out there. Let's see. It added all the flowers we kind of know of today. The tulips, the blue orchid, allium. I can't ever say that word. Azure, oxy daisy, poppies, all those flowers. The sunflowers down with the kingdom, peonies, rose bushes, lilacs, double tall grass. I mean, just all of this stuff. Different kind of fish. Wait, it's pufferfish. Oh, I guess I got so used to thinking of pufferfish in the 113 update. I forgot
Yeah.
pufferfish were a thing when you were fishing.
They used to be a fishing thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it really changed how the world looked. I guess.
Yeah. So at first it was kind of a joke that this was named the update that changed the world, but when you really look into it, it kind of was the update that changed the world.
Yeah. So the next one, it's sort of in the same sort of area. It's the 1.8, the bountiful update. It just massively changed, I think, how the world looked, and then it added a lot of realism. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but just a lot of liveliness to the game. They added like guardian temples, something in the water to look at. So much. I don't know, little features that just make the world look more, I guess.
Yeah, and I speak about that on my last update I'll mention. But before we get there, it's like, to me, that's quality of life game development right there. Is when you add the little
right
things.
Word. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah. Yeah, it's a quality of life kind of update. They got a few of those.
Yeah, and 1.8 is the update I started playing Minecraft, so it's kind of my favorite.
I'm not sure. I mean, I guess. I'm not sure if it's my favorite one. It might be one of the last two ones.
Well, if 1.8 is not my favorite, it's 1.9, which you have listed next.
Yeah.
So, transitions.
I did. 1.9, definitely different reasons. Game mechanics. We got the Elytra, which obviously is a huge game changer. I don't think many people can imagine playing without an Elytra anymore. I mean, so many people just wear it constantly. They redid the combat, which is not why I chose this. I don't think that's a major game changer too much. But the dual wielding definitely was. I don't use it myself a huge amount, but almost always when I see a stream or a YouTube video, people have they use their offhand so much. I think that's kind of a big game changer that went unnoticed.
When I'm watching streams and stuff, I can tell immediately if it's a Bedrock streamer or if it's a Java streamer, because the dual wielding hands just kind of sets Java apart.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it in Bedrock, but it's very limited. Like, I think you can only hold arrows and a map in your offhand.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's slightly disappointing.
Maybe a shield.
Yeah.
I think they have shields finally. So it's just kind of like, what? But
I didn't know that.
The dual wielding hands, if they ever take that functionality away, I might lose it. And
I hope they improve it a bit. I don't think it's great. But yeah, they can't get rid of it anymore. Definitely.
No, but going on to my next one to expand on the Elytra, a lot of people forget the fact that the way you flew back then was a punch two bow and shooting yourself in your own keister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1.11 fireworks to help propel you with the Elytra, but also shulker boxes. Shulker box changed everything for me. And which is really sad because you use them way more than I do.
Yep.
I love shulker boxes, and I remember the days playing on Roman Survivors, doing your long tunnel in the Nether, having to walk back and forth with supplies. It was just the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
And shulker box gets rid of that. Granted, they should not have put llamas in the same update as shulker boxes.
They shouldn't have.
Because it really kind of killed the llama purpose. Because I think llamas are really cool, but you no longer need llamas with shulker boxes.
Yeah, they added llamas, and they sort of had a better functionality for moving items than the donkey had. But that all just went to nothing because they also added shulker boxes.
Yeah. I no longer needed a caravan of animals to carry my stuff because I had magical pockets.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's go on to your next one, because I could talk about shulker boxes all day. The little sound they make. Both with
Let's
the
not do
shulker
that.
in it or not.
The next one. We're basically just skipping 1.12, I guess. 1.13 for me. It's another one, quality of life. I love the fact, and I think it's the seas were empty.
Yes.
Basically, and they changed that, which made, I don't know, half the world as an extra sort of playable option. I mean, you could play in the sea, but it was kind of boring. And then now it's almost. I mean, I don't want to call it an extra biome because I feel it's more than that. That's just a massive game changer.
How often do you stumble across a coral reef and just stop what you're doing to look?
I always look at coral reefs.
Exactly. I do the same thing. If I'm flying, I'm nose diving into the ocean to check out some coral reefs.
I also just like to see the watercolors when you're boating through an ocean, and then it changes to the lighter color, and you know, like, oh, I'm in the warm water now.
I wish they added more watercolors to the aquatic update.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think I mentioned this ever in a YouTube video or whatever, but the main reason I chose my swamp spot, you know that, but is during the 1.13 pre-updates, there was one update where one type of swamp biome, I think it's Swamp Hills, it would have like yellow water, which I loved, and my little starter hut around my portal is actually in the Swamp Hills, which would have yellow water. I always called it pea water. I might get beeped. I think it's a shame they got rid of that. It was cool.
Yeah, I would love to see like a really clear aqua looking color. I mean, we already kind of have a darker blue and a lighter blue for when you get to warm ocean and cold ocean. But I'd love to see more shades of this watercolor. Like you said, the yellow water in the swamp was really cool and it's kind of realistic.
I think they could do something with red probably as well, maybe.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about the creativeness of having red water. Because there's so many adventure maps that need, like, blood. And they kind of have to use, like, redstone or some, what is it? Not magma blocks. The red coral stuff. To make it kind of look like blood and stuff. It's like, well, you get flowing red water. Heck, let me take a cauldron and throw a dye into the cauldron with the water and dye the water.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I know.
Just being able to dye water would be awesome as well. I said red, and I think you thought like sort of bright red. Well, you started to talk about blood, which is kind of bright red. I was more thinking about the sort of murky, muddy water that you see in like the Amazon. I want to say, I might be wrong. I think you know what I mean. The sort of reddish. There's a lot of clay in there, like floating in the water, which gives it the color. Well, I mean, just colors in the water. I think that could be definitely cool. We went off topic again.
We do that a lot, but it seems to come out pretty good. I guess so. For the final update that I chose to be the game-changing update is the Village and Pillage update. And
there was only one choice left.
That's true. But, I mean, let's face it. I picked, 5 updates? You have 4 updates, and you would have had 5 updates, except for I picked up the shulker boxes. But, to me, the Village and Pillage update shows that Mojang is willing to reevaluate previous updates and build on them. Which, to me, shows progress, quality of life, huge steps to take to make this game last a long time, which I am super excited for.
That's a really good point you made.
Yeah, the bugs, not so much, but it's the thought that matters in this instance. That yes, thank you for going back, because let's face it, village farms and all that kind of stuff, it was stale. Yeah, I mean, everyone kind of knew how to set up a breeder. Everyone knew how to farm for materials. It's been the same since, 1.8, 1.7?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, let's face it, they have been working on redoing a bunch of stuff lately anyway. But you made the point that they went and listened, I guess, to the community.
Yeah.
I think that might be a big game changer as well. If they keep doing that really well, that's gonna make a difference.
Yeah. Now, all this being said, does this mean that 1.12 is the most useless update?
Or 1.1, and 1.6. We didn't mention it. I mean, I wanted to say, like, that these are, I guess, the most... They all were big changes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Every
we went
update
through all
had
the updates.
something that changed the game.
Yeah, we went through all the updates, and I thought... Before I went through it, I thought, oh, there's a lot of updates that didn't really get anything. But when you really look through it and what were added, they all have at least one like feature that's okay, that's big. What was it? I think 1.3 added the Ender chest.
Yep.
I mean, that's a huge thing to be added. Mm-hmm. We just didn't mention. I mean, it's not as much as a game changer as the rest, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So the next topic in Omni's question was, what next change could really affect the future of the game?
Yeah, I thought about it really, really well. I mean, it's hard to come up with something, but the main thing is, I think if they manage to add something like Redstone, and then not necessarily the same like something electronic, but if they manage to add something that you can still explore and still discover new things in after 4, 5, 6 years, I don't even know how long it is. That would make Minecraft, or that would affect the future of Minecraft a lot. That would keep replayability alive, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I tried to come up with examples, but obviously that's hard to think of something like that. I thought maybe something like magic. I've heard it mentioned before. It's a dangerous thing. Like, it could ruin it completely. But, I mean, enchanting is sort of a magic thing. Mm-hmm. I think there is a way to add it in a good way that could maybe do something like that.
Yeah, I think magic would be an awesome update, but I'm with you in the fact that magic could also ruin it at the same time.
Yeah, it has to be done carefully and well thought out, but mm-hmm. I think it could be something that could be similar to maybe something like Redstone.
And I'm all for Mojang trying something like magic, just based on the way they treated the Illusioner as a mob. The fact that they kept trying to perfect this mob that didn't really work that well in the game, and were able to realize, well, it's just not working out for the best, so let's scrap it. Yeah. I think if they were to try magic and they couldn't get the balance right, they would be smart enough to say, well, let's just scrap it.
I hope so. Yeah. I think another way, by the way, is as well, but not as much, but I think if they do a good combat overhaul, adding different weapons, like you could create a lot of variety in there, but I don't think it would ever be as big as, let's say, Redstone. But it could be something that's keeps being explorable.
Yeah, no, I mean, think about it. I just realized a lot of our podcasts come to what would we want to see next in the game.
Yeah, it does.
So somehow we always try to think of something different that we haven't mentioned before. I mean, granted, we've talked about weapons and stuff, but the idea of like a full-fledged magic system to me is really cool. I want to be able to hi, Suze. We're recording a podcast here. I mean, it's like once an episode, she's got to do something, right?
Yeah, sort of.
Crazy dog. I don't forgot what I'm saying, so.
You were talking about the magic thing.
Yeah, magic system. Imagine having like a tree of abilities that you can climb up with by unlocking advancements or achievements in the game. Mm-hmm. So let's say one of your powers could be basically a flint and steel. Like you could light something on fire without needing a flint and steel, but you couldn't get that till you did all the nether achievements.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that could be something really cool.
Yeah.
Maybe you can reduce fall damage by like 50% once you complete all the end damage, or I don't know, tame a shulker somehow.
That would be really cool to tame a shulker.
It would be. But stuff like that's really fun.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's really tricky. I was surprised they could. I mean, it's a really dangerous area to be messing with. But yeah, if done right, it could be awesome.
For me, if Mojang wants to change the game, you're gonna add red dragons, because I've been asking for it for I don't know how many episodes now.
I think red dragons have been mentioned like since, what was it, episode 3 of the podcast.
I have no idea, but I just know I don't have a rideable red dragon yet, so I'm going to keep mentioning it.
Hang on. I did make a picture for you.
I physically cannot ride that dragon. I don't know what paparazzi took that picture, because I can't do that in-game.
Fair enough.
The other kind of stuff I would think about would be, I really want some sky biomes. I would love to have floating islands.
Yeah.
For some reason, a lot of people don't like the idea of floating islands. And I think floating islands as a biome could be really cool. But it needs to be done right. And the fact that chunk borders are really weird, because they're really square.
Right.
And my thought process is, if you have a floating island biome, that the chunk below it, because you have vertical chunks the same with horizontal chunks.
I thought they were different.
I mean, the main chunk is horizontal, but you have different sections going up vertically in the same chunk.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think from I don't know how to say this properly. Basically, down to bedrock should be gone. Like, that should be air. Nothing should be able to take that space. So you have these floating islands, but at the same time, you kind of have to make the floating biome square to fit in the weird square chunk borders. So it'd be a weird shape. You couldn't just do, I don't know. They would be extremely hard to me to make look right.
I'm not really following, because I'm picturing, for example, Ant Islands. And they are they don't have that issue.
Well, that's because they're all surrounded by end islands. Now imagine an end island right next to a desert. There's nothing under the island. It just goes straight to bedrock. It's a hard cut.
I get you now. So you're thinking to have the sort of sky biomes be on the same level as a regular biome.
Oh no, I want the sky biomes to start at Y level 150 or something like that.
Yeah, but then you could just have a normal biome on the ground and be up higher and sort of be in sky biome.
But then you'd have a giant shadow on the ground all the time. It just would basically become a big mob farm.
Yeah, that's true. That's since we mentioned Sky Islands, I've always been thinking about how would you solve that? Because obviously you're stuck with a build limit as well at the moment. Right. So that would be weird. You would always see them, which you wouldn't want. So I thought maybe if you just fly up and get at Y level 500, you reach buildable areas again. Because even though build limit is at 256, I think, you can fly up to Y so many 1,000, I think, even.
Yeah. Well, see, that was my first solution. Was you would kind of create a second area, kind of like how in the Nether you have the Nether and then you have above the bedrock ceiling.
Right.
So you would have the overworld, and then you would have above build limit where these islands are.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just if you go high enough, you reach a sort of buildable spot again. Or they would probably generate end islands where you could build off from. Or not end, sky islands.
Yeah. The other solution I had was that you would have them at Y150, but everything below them would just be bedrock. because obviously mobs can't spawn on Bedrock.
Mm-hmm.
Bedrock's already a darker color, so shadows there don't really matter.
Oh, right.
So that was my other thought process.
Mm.
But I don't care how they do it as long as there's red dragons.
Yeah, I think that would be a cool addition. It would create sort of a new... how do you call it? It would create a new land, like the Nether and the End and the Overworld. You would get the sky, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And to me, that could be a good place to start the birth of the magic abilities and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it also it would give a lot of opportunity to add biomes to that. A lot of new mobs, and then hell, I know, maybe new villagers. Some new kind of friendly mobs that live together and you can trade with. I don't know. It's like infinite ideas that you could pretty much put in there. Giants?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's like having a whole new dimension. Granted, I'd rather them concentrate on fixing the End and the Nether before doing something like this. But
I mean, I'm assuming they would do either or as well. Like, let's fix some stuff before we like add another major thing.
Yeah.
I hope they do add it in the future, though. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think it's the end game to me. When I hear Sky Islands and Red Dragons, I'm gonna squeal like a little girl has never squealed before.
Yeah, and I think it would be awesome if you could only reach it by flying. So you would first have to like get the Ender Dragon. Well, you don't necessarily have to do that to get Chokers, or Elytra, but let's say a normal player does, and then get your Elytra, get out of the End, and then you can fly up. I guess make rockets. It's sort of a next sort of thing than the End. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But
so,
I think
chop chop.
Yeah, I think we're sort of reaching an end already, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Do you want to go ahead and get us out of here?
Yeah, that's all right. So if you like the show, tell everyone in your Minecraft community, and then just not everywhere. Just tell your grandma and stuff. Share it on social media. Leave us a rating and a review. That really helps us out to reach more listeners. If you'd like to get into contact with the show, send an email to podcast@rippleeffectsmp.com. Send us a tweet or join our Discord, which we think I prefer the most because we can really talk to you and you can give suggestions and all that cool stuff. The links are in the show notes. You'll find us there.
Yeah, this show has been brought to you by Benk and myself, but also our digital producer, Carl. He helps make sure our show does not end up somewhere in North Korea. I think I said that line last time.
Yeah, it made me laugh as well. It's like, why there? But sure.
Because it's like internet black sites there.
I mean, it would be awesome if it gets there.
Okay.
It would be the few things of the outside world they can listen to.
Maybe Carl helps make sure the show doesn't end up next to the Titanic or something. How about that?
Yeah,
bottom of the ocean, no one will find us.
Yeah,
he helps. Oh man, the amazing music you hear in the intro and the outro was created by Decoy. His and Carl's links can be found down in the show notes. Also, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Thanks for getting withered with us. Bye.
See ya later.